Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1743B, and today's date is December 17th, 2018, and the title of the episode is Envelopes Delivered, Placeholders Created, Ready for the Plot Twist. Before we start, I want to talk about privacy. It has been proven that government agencies, corporations are tracking and spying on us 24/7. Let's take a look at the latest news. New Facebook bug exposes 6.8 million users' photos to a third-party app. Dell resets all customers' passwords after potential security breach. Corporations, governments are tracking our behavior and building profiles. What does this mean? It means they're watching, listening, and tracking you, connecting to your microphone and camera. This holiday season, Virtual Shield is offering 35% off all VPN plans and all premium add-ons, including Protection Plus, residential access, monthly maintenance, phone support, and VIP performance plans for as low as $3 per month. And don't forget about IdentiSafe, which allows the customer the ability to block off computer microphone and camera access from any unwanted spies and hackers. For anyone that is paranoid about the government watching or listening to every move they make via your computer, IdentiSafe is for them. Don't forget about their no-log policy, which protects its users from any data breaches. Virtual Shield's IdentiSafe program for Windows allows the customer the ability to block off computer microphone and camera access from any unwanted spies and hackers. So check out the link below and start protecting yourself today, because we all have the right to remain private. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, the deep state today used more of their ammunition. Now, for many, people are looking at this and they're saying, oh my God, things are looking bad. Look what's happening to Flynn right now with this new story that came out. But we need to look back in time. And we need to understand what is going on here. Q already warned us of this, and they wanted Mueller to use this ammunition. This was all part of the plan, and we'll be discussing that in just a bit. But first, I wanted to start off with Obamacare and how it was deemed unconstitutional. And Trump tweeted something else out today. And we discussed this many, many times before about how the premiums are very high and people have very high deductibles. And many people can't even reach their deductible. So they're paying, $5,000, $10,000 first out of their pocket while still paying those high premiums. That's not health insurance. That's not helping anyone, because you're paying everything out of pocket and you're not getting any of the benefits. So Trump tweeted out the following. The deductible which comes with Obamacare is so high that it is practically not even usable. Hurts families badly. We have a chance working with Democrats to deliver great health care. A confirming Supreme Court decision will lead to great health care results for Americans. And when you look at this and you look back in time, when everyone was discussing Obamacare and saying, hey, the premiums continually move up, exchanges are shutting down, the deductibles are too high, no government official was really listening. All they were saying is, look, millions and millions and millions of people are insured with Obamacare. But if you actually break down all those numbers they were throwing out there, you find out that most of the people that were on Obamacare transferred from their other plans that they had because they couldn't keep their doctors, they couldn't keep those plans, to the new plan because they had no choice. It wasn't like they were new and they wanted to have it. They were forced into it. And all the other people that came on board were all the people that never had insurance, that don't have to pay for it because the government is paying for it. The middle class picked up the tab for everyone. That's why the premiums are so high. They thought that the younger generation was going to go and say, yes, this is what I need, this is what I want, and I'm going to purchase it. But the younger generation didn't do this. And this is why Obamacare has been struggling all along. And many people said, something? It's a lot cheaper to take the penalty than to purchase the health insurance, because I'm not going to be paying out $1,500, $2,000 a month for absolutely nothing when my deductible is $5,000. And I'm talking about a family of 4, a family of 5, a family of 6. I'm not talking about an individual. And if you had problems or anything else, it was even higher. And a lot of people decided, something, we're just not going to do it. And again, if something was so great, you wouldn't have to have a penalty. You wouldn't have to force people into something. They would just take it. Now, very interesting with Mueller and the facts revolving around the 302s. We find that the Supreme Court held long ago in Brady v. Maryland that the Constitution requires the prosecution, which holds all the cards in a criminal case, to give the defense all evidence favorable to the defendant, whether it impeaches a witness, mitigates punishment, or it shows his innocence. The burden is on the prosecutors to find anything in the possession of the government that is favorable to the defense. Now, Judge Sullivan ordered Mueller to produce any FBI interview reports called 302s or memoranda relevant to the original interview of General Flynn. Ironically, Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley has been requesting the agent's notes and 302s for 2 years now. So did Mueller comply? Well, Mueller thumbed his nose at Judge Sullivan's order. He produced only 302s created by his own squad 7 months later from his own agent's interview of none other than the infamous Agent Peter Strzok, the guy who swore he'd stop President Trump and devised an insurance policy with his mistress Lisa Page and Deputy Director Andrew McCabe in case Trump won the election. So the evidence indicates Mueller destroyed or suppressed Brady material. There was an original 302 created within 5 days by FBI protocol. So why didn't he hand that over? Well, Rex kind of explains what he thinks is going to happen here. And he starts off with, where's the January 302, Bob? Initially, many of us thought this August 22nd interview was a modification of an original 302, written after the January 24th interview. That would have been suspicious enough, but the reality seems even worse. And what's missing from Mueller's response, the FBI 302 of the interview between General Flynn and the FBI's Peter Strzok and Joe Pientka on January 24th, 2017. Now, we haven't heard from Joe, which is very interesting all by itself. But it seems that on January, 302 may not even exist. Look, there are only two alternatives. Either there is a 302 from January 24th interview between Flynn and Strzok and Joe Pientka, or there's not. If there's no 302, it appears to indicate that the evidence used by Mueller to trap the general was based on the interview between Mueller's special counsel and Peter Strzok on August 22nd. This, even though the same Peter Strzok admitted that General Flynn did not appear to be lying when he interviewed him with the FBI agent Pientka on January 24th. Now, Judge Sullivan is going to look at all this evidence on December 18th, which is tomorrow. And Judge Sullivan should throw this completely out of his court. But he might go a step further and ask for the Department of Justice investigation into prosecutorial misconduct. So if that does happen, will Whitaker then fire Mueller and shut this probe down? Then General Flynn will be cleared and pardoned. So let's think about this for a second. Tomorrow, Judge Sullivan, who wanted the 302s and all the information, all the evidence, only got a little piece of it. So Judge Sullivan's going to look at this and say, listen, where's the rest? What's going on here? Mueller is backed into a corner. Mueller knows he's caught. He knows he manipulated what happened with Flynn. So what did Mueller do today? He used some ammunition. And I believe this was forced, and they wanted Mueller to do this, because Q, which we'll go into in a minute, already knew. So today the story came out that 2 Turks were charged with conspiracy as agents of foreign government. So what they're saying is that Flynn is involved with this. He kind of helped with this deal, and he didn't register as a foreign agent. So let's think about this for a second. All of a sudden, this came up today because Judge Sullivan is having a ruling tomorrow. And Mueller knows he didn't produce what Sullivan wanted. So Mueller had to use this today to take all the attention off of what's going to happen tomorrow. this is in the spotlight right now. So when we look at this, we can see that Flynn might be in a little bit of trouble, and it could be an issue for the White House. But is it? Most likely not. Now, this is coming out of the conservative treehouse. It is increasingly clear that Mueller used the sketchy financial arrangement between Turkey and Flynn, specifically how Flynn maneuvered the money as the leverage in the unrelated Russia conspiracy investigation, giving Flynn a pass on his failure to register the arrangement under the Foreign Agents Registration Act, FARA, and the banking issues, possibly IRS trouble, gave Robert Mueller a dual benefit. In addition to the damaging narrative around Flynn, the FARA escape set up Mueller's ability to provide the Podesta brothers the same benefit. Now, when we're viewing what is going on here, this is a political struggle that is taking place inside the venue of the legal system. The players use the legal system to game out the optics and narrative of political battles for ideological wins and losses. In essence, this is about leverage for political use. The 2016 election caused a big shakeup in the balance of power away from the professional political forces inside Washington, D.C. A shift favorably toward political forces that are external to the D.C. machine, i.e. President Trump and the deplorables. That shift is the risk to the system. That makes President Trump a risk to the order of things. And this is why they've been trying to get Trump out of this system as hard as they possibly can, because he's interfering with what they had set up. Now, think about this for a second, about what is going on here. Do you think this just happened by chance? No. Let's go back to Q's post 1280. This was back August 27, 2018. And it says done in 30, brackets 30. But look what Q says. Why would Flynn plead guilty to something untrue? Define testimony. Define on record. Who knows where the bodies are buried? Flynn is safe. Expand your thinking. Now, why would Flynn at this time plead guilty to something untrue? It would be ridiculous. Unless Mueller was holding something over him. That would be the only reason. And it looks like Mueller just used his ammunition. Because what would be the reason that Flynn would say, yeah, I lied? It wouldn't make any sense unless they had something that they could hold over him. And now they just use that ammunition. And if you look at what Trump tweeted out today, it's very interesting that he tweeted this out today. It looks here as though General Flynn's defenses are incidental to something larger, which is for the prosecution to figure out if it can find a path to Donald Trump without quite knowing what the crime might be. It stops looking like prosecution and more looking like a persecution of the president. The Wall Street Journal, thank you. People are starting to see and understand what this witch hunt is all about. Jeff Sessions should have been ashamed of himself for allowing this total hoax to get started in the first place. The Russian witch hunt hoax started as the insurance policy long before I even got elected. It's very bad for our country. They are entrapping people for misstatements, lies, or unrelated things that took place many years ago. Nothing to do with collusion. A Democrat scam. So what they're doing is they're going back in time, trying to find anything. But I hate to say this. If we look back at all these individuals, we're going to see corruption like there's no tomorrow. And Trump already kind of told everyone that this was coming. Q already said, listen, why would Flynn agree that he lied? Why would he do this? It makes no sense unless there was something held over him. This was planned. Get ready for the counter move. They wanted Mueller to use this ammunition. Now, Comey is testifying behind closed doors today, and it seems like he's not cooperating once again. Now, if we really think about this, do you think Comey, behind closed doors, with Congress asking him about the classified information, all these people are going to say, I don't remember, I don't recall, that really didn't happen. They're never going to answer any of these people. They rather say, I don't remember, than lie in front of these people. So all these hearings are kind of a waste of time right now because they're never going to admit to anything. What has to happen is the proof has to be brought out into the open. We need to see their signatures. We need to see what they've been doing. We need to see the chain of command. But we can see that they're getting very, very worried, scared, and afraid. Schiff was on NBC Meet the Press, and he said it would be derelict without security if President Trump's business dealings were not investigated. So wait a minute. What happened to Russian collusion, Schiff? Now you're going into Trump's business dealings. What does this have to do with anything? So think about what they're saying. We need to go look over here, over there, and everywhere else, except, well, let's see. How about looking at the 302s that were forged or faked? How about the FISA warrants that were issued with fake information? How about the Obama administration that spied on the incoming president? How about Hillary, who deleted 33,000 emails using BleachBit? How about everything else that is going on? Let's not look at all those things that are right in front of our face, where people were How about the deleted text messages with Strzok and Page? No, let's not look at all that. But let's look at Trump's business dealings that are not connected to any crime or anything like that. But let's look at them. But you hear emails being deleted. You have private servers in a home. You have 302s being created out of thin air. You have Mueller deleting all the text messages. The FISA warrant being issued with fake information. A president spying on an incoming president. I mean, doesn't he see anything with that? No, but let's go look at something that has nothing to do with anything. It's amazing. So Trump tweeted out the following. Remember, Michael Cohen only became a rat after the FBI did something which was absolutely unthinkable and unheard of until the witch hunt was illegally started. They broke into an attorney's office. Why didn't they bring it to the DNC to get the server, or Crooked's office, which is Hillary's office? Trump, as you can see, is continually bringing this up. He's showing how these people continually break the law. I mean, really breaking into an attorney's office? Unheard of. So, again, there are crimes that are out there. Why didn't they do the same when they were looking at Hillary and the rest? He's continually bringing this up on purpose. Let's go back to post 2608. This is when Q was having question and answer. And Anon asked, what were in the envelopes? And Q says, our promise to counter. Now, we showed a video of Hillary receiving an envelope, and there's many people receiving the envelope. Now here's one of Barack and Michelle Obama receiving an envelope. And as you can see, they both look at it, they shove it right back in, and they continue on with the funeral. Many people received this envelope. Prepare for the counter. Prepare for the plot twist. It's coming. They're letting the deep state use all the ammunition they have. Everything that they've been saving, they want them to use. Because once they have nothing left, that's when you hit them. That's when you hit them really hard. You know why? Because they won't have ammunition to fire back with. That's when you really get them. When they can't move. Now, it looks today that Congress, they decided to reach a deal ending taxpayer-funded sexual harassment settlements for Congress. So the House and Senate negotiators reached an agreement to overhaul congressional regulations governing sexual harassment, clearing the way for a vote on the measure in both chambers over the next 2 weeks before Congress adjourns for the year. Under the terms of the compromise announced Wednesday, members of Congress would be held personally liable for sexual harassment and retaliation settlements, requiring them to reimburse the Treasury. It would also publicly identify members of Congress, settle harassment claims, along with any settlements. So let's think about this for a second. Congress was using taxpayer funds to settle cases because of their misdeeds. So if we look at this, we can see that going back in time between 2008 and 2012, it paid out $115,000 to staffers who had filed workplace sexual harassment complaints while employed by a member of the House of Representatives. Last month, it was reported that close to $100,000 of those funds were used to settle sexual harassment claims by 2 young male staffers who worked for disgraced former Congressional Eric Massa. James D. Moyle, Massa's attorney in New York, said the former congressman had no knowledge of the payments to his staffers from the Office of Compliance. So let's see all the deals that were made. We should have them all unsealed. And whatever funds that were paid out, these individuals should pay it back to the people. Why should we be paying for their misdeeds? And guess what? They should all be unsealed. They're public officials. We should know what is going on there. Where is transparency? If you notice, they keep it hidden. We see Macron. He is conceding to the yellow vests, and he's going to push all different laws and tax breaks and all this other stuff through Parliament. Well, what he's really doing is he's saying he's going to be doing all this stuff, but there's caveats that are attached to it, which means he's going to back out later. Macron is just trying to calm the situation down. Every time these individuals say they're going to do something, they always have a backdoor to get out of it. And this is what they're trying to do, because Macron sees the writing on the wall. He sees that these people are going to continually push and push and push, and most likely push him out of office. And the movement is growing across the world. Canada is now joining in. And we're seeing that the people around the world, they've had it. They're done with the elite, with the establishment. And now they're pushing their agenda. We see out in Afghanistan, the Afghan Taliban, they have met with the U.S. officials. They're talking about peace right now. And Trump right now is out there saying that he is pulling the troops out of Syria once again. And we can see that everything is coming to an end. We see that the Islamic State, they are almost beaten. A month or two, they'll be completely eradicated from Syria. And guess what? There is absolutely no reason why the U.S. needs to be in Syria anymore. Actually, Russia and Syria, they're going to make a really big stink at the UN, and they're going to say there is no reason for a foreign entity to be inside a sovereign country without the president's permission. Even though Bolton is out there, and he is a neocon, trying to tell everyone that the U.S. is never going to leave, I do believe that Trump puts these people into these positions for specific reasons, to keep all eyes on Bolton, keep everyone happy with what he's saying, while they do the work behind the scenes. And once these people are no longer needed, they get rid of them. This is all part of the plan. Get ready for the plot twist. Get ready for the counter. It is coming. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.